some of the guys on the defensive line who've gotten more playing time as of late because of injury, just how do you think they've a Caleb Taylor, and just how do you think they've stepped up with the added responsibility?
Well, I think last week they did a really good job, and not that they haven't other times, but yeah, we were down a little bit in there, and a lot of guys did that, but Caleb Taylor, you mentioned him in particular. I thought that was probably the best game that he's played since I've been here, and it's probably the most that he's played this year as well. So there's a couple of plays that come to my mind where just like what you want, like coming off the ball and knocking an offensive lineman back and protecting his gap and shedding the block and getting to the ball, making tackles. So I think he's certainly over the last month or so has really improved his day-to-day practice and what he's doing, and so it's good to see when you get a chance to really do it in a game that stuff comes to fruition too. So he's done a really good job.
I think you guys lead the country in defensive touchdowns. What's been the big emphasis this year in practice?
I don't know that there's been any emphasis different than any other. I feel like obviously we've got some good perimeter players out there that are good at recognizing routes. I mean, I can't say it's been the same kind of route all the time, but there has been some consistently just trying to get the ball to the outside and or get the ball to the perimeter. Our corners have done a really good job of covering down those routes really well and then taking advantage of mistakes. As we said like last week, is how do you get interceptions? Well, I think a lot of it is you speed up the quarterback. You make him do things faster than he's comfortable doing or faster than he wants to do. The particular play from last Saturday night was just a 4-man rush, but we had pressured him a few times before. He wanted to get the ball out of his hands. We were getting off the ball good on that snap, and again, it was just he threw it off target, and Mello made a really good catch and a really good can tell from his basketball days, a little reverse pivot there, and down the sideline he went. So I think that's as much as anything is you're forcing the offense into mistakes and making them play faster and do things faster than they really want to.
And that's kind of been a big emphasis this all year, right? Just playing faster.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. And I talked to our coaching staff. I watched our game versus Texas Tech last year, as we do, and man, so we just didn't look like we didn't look fast, and we didn't play very fast, and like we were behind all the time. And I said, I feel like we're playing differently this year. So if 1 year makes a difference, I certainly think we are getting off the ball better. We're playing more physically, and we're just generally as a defense, playing faster.
It seems like teams aren't really throwing at Kobe too much. Have you had a player in your defense in the past where other teams have really seemed to go to another side or just avoid a player in general?
Yeah, I don't know if that's by design or just by the way the game goes sometimes. I'm not sure all the time. I talk to safety sometimes because they would say, well, we don't get many passes thrown our way. I said, well, that could be a good thing. Either that means you're doing a good job in coverage, and if you are, then the ball's probably not going to come to your guy. So I said you got to kind of take that as a feather in your cap sometimes. So maybe that's the same thing for him sometimes. If you're covering a guy tightly, hey, got to be quick. If you're going to throw the ball quick, that number 2, he's good. He'll jump those routes, and so maybe throw it to the other side. Well, I don't know. Mel's done that twice in a row, 2 weeks in a row. So maybe you shouldn't throw him at all.
Ryan, as you look at Texas Tech, what do they do offensively, and what are some of the challenges?
Well, same as a couple other recent teams, Oklahoma, Central Florida. They play extremely fast. They move the ball all over the place. You make you defend sideline to sideline. They've got a good perimeter throwing game. A lot of RPO throws, which is a challenge all the time because you got to defend the running play. They make it tough because they have a really good running back. I think he's one of the top 2 or 3 in the country in forcing missed tackles, which is always a concern for our team. And so you gotta have good numbers and things to really defend the run, but then you got to be able to rally to the perimeter pass too. So I think they do a really good job of mixing that in there. And they also have, they've got some, I don't know, kind of gadgety kind of formations and motions and things that they do that really kind of you gotta be on your toes, because they're gonna pull some of those things out at any point, and so you've gotta, like I said, defensively, you've really gotta be able to communicate some things, and whatever your plan is, and to get that stuff done and be on the same page, because they certainly challenge you with a lot of those kind of things.
How big is it for them to get Morton back at quarterback after you've watched them?
Yeah, well, he obviously, played last week, and I think he's, a really good player. So, and I think he's, whatever, if he started the year as their backup, I think he's a quality starter in the conference. So, he does a really good job. He's a good sized guy that can run the ball, that knows what to do with it, can just, within their offense, I think he does a really good job of managing, making good decisions and things like that, and so yeah, we've got our work cut out for us. He's a good ball player, and I don't think that's not taking a breath at all just because of that guy playing. I think he's worrisome. So we've got to be on our game.
They go for it on fourth down more than basically anyone else in the country. Just how do you prepare for that, and also how does that affect your third down preparation, which I know is a big part of what you do?
It's like we used to play Army all the time, and man, they're the same way. They just get it to 3rd and 2, and we're going for it on 4th, and so yeah, you've got to, hopefully you're going to play some, good early down defense that it's, I don't know if it's 4th and 8 if they're going to go for it. If it's 4th and 1, they probably will. So, you've got to kind of win some of those earlier downs, and I don't know that it does a whole lot. Sometimes it's also by field position. Are they backed up in their territory? It might be different on 3rd down than if they're on our side of the 50. They might run the ball on 3rd down on our side of the 50 because we can get it to 4th and 1 and we know we're going to go for it. Where if they're backed up, maybe they won't, because they've got so far to go. So so again, to me, the key to that is to get ahead in the down to distance game, and don't make it be 4th and 1 or 2. Make it be 4th and 10.
And just following up on something you said earlier, you mentioned the different formations and looks they can throw at you. Does practicing against your guys' offense help with that at all, or is it just like different?
Yeah, it's like that. Probably our offense would be even more so, but yeah, I think we have to try to defend that stuff every day and spend time like talking about and working it out. Like, okay, so this look here in this particular defense and coverage, what is our adjustment? What can we do, right? So I feel like we're, as much as anybody, we should be prepared for those things, and we are, but you still have to recognize it and then have 11 guys do the same thing. If you're going to do something, okay, versus this formation, we're going to do this. All 11 guys gotta be doing this. So, you gotta still be great communicators in doing that stuff. So that's the tricky part.
It seemed like Craig was super involved around the line of scrimmage against Iowa State. Just what impressed you most about what he did?
Yeah, I thought that was his best game of the year. Best game, best game of the year this year for him. We took a little bit off his plate. He didn't probably play quite as many reps, so we were able to kind of by situation, personnel group, kind of do some more substituting to match things a little bit more. And again, just to, if a guy can play 40 plays and be really fresh instead of 70 plays and be tired, for those extra 30 plays, those 40, you're going to get more of those 40 plays. So I think we pared it down a little bit for him, so he knew he's just going to be doing certain things, and I felt like that really helped him. And again, he's a guy he takes everything seriously. He works hard. He does extra. He's doing all he can, and I'm glad that to me it just feels good for a guy to he's going through it a little bit, right, and to really put a really good game together, and I think that just really helps his confidence.
How much does the development of Jason Gilliam at that spot allow you to do that and still feel comfortable?
Yeah, that's it, right? I think that's it, because Jason's another guy that's he does everything the right way. So, and he's a good player. So it's really on us to try to find a role for him. And so, hey, in this offensive personnel group, this would really be good for Jason because he's got this, maybe this little skill set that is good for him that might be a little bit better than the other guy. So and vice versa. So we've just tried to put everybody in positions where they can be most successful for them. Okay.
Anything else, Coach Borland?